Some fortunes were so large, so powerful, and so dangerous that the people who owned them learned one rule very early in life: never show it. Not because they were humble, and not because they were afraid of success, but because showing too much wealth can paint a target on your back in ways most people never think about. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how the loudest displays of wealth often belong to people who are not actually the safest, happiest, or most secure? Big houses posted online, expensive cars filmed from every angle, luxury everywhere for strangers to see, and yet behind the scenes, stress, fear, lawsuits, enemies, and pressure quietly grow. History has shown us something very clear. Money does not just attract comfort, it attracts attention, and not all attention is good. Some fortunes were so massive that displaying them openly would have invited theft, violence, political attacks, betrayal, or even death, so the smartest wealthy people learned to hide in plain sight. Think about ancient kings, merchants, and rulers who controlled entire trade routes, gold supplies, or food systems. Many of them dressed simply when traveling, avoided showing riches, and spread their wealth quietly through trusted systems. Why would someone with endless gold choose to live modestly? Because power that is visible becomes vulnerable. When people know exactly how much you have, they also know exactly what they can try to take. And the bigger the fortune, the more dangerous that knowledge becomes. Let's talk about old money for a moment. Not the flashy kind you see online, but the kind that survives generations. Families that have stayed wealthy for hundreds of years follow a very different rulebook. They don't shout, they don't show, and they don't explain. They understand that wealth displayed loudly creates jealousy, resentment, and entitlement in others. And jealousy is one of the most dangerous emotions money can awaken. When people believe you have too much, they feel justified in taking from you, taxing you unfairly, suing you, or even hurting you, all while convincing themselves they are doing something right. That's why some of the richest people you will ever walk past look completely ordinary. No designer logos, no loud statements, no need to prove anything. Their safety comes from blending in. Let me ask you this. If someone knew exactly how much money you had right now, would that make your life better or more complicated? For many people, the answer is more complicated. There were fortunes built during dangerous times, wars, revolutions, economic collapses, and political shifts, where displaying wealth could mean being marked as an enemy overnight. Merchants who survived learned to hide gold in walls, books, land, and businesses under other names. Not because they were criminals, but because survival demanded silence. Even today, in many parts of the world, showing wealth openly invites kidnapping, extortion, or constant fear. Money does not just buy comfort, it can buy danger if handled carelessly. Some fortunes were dangerous because they controlled resources people depended on: food, water, energy, transportation, or information. When you control what people need, you also carry responsibility and risk. Displaying too much power invites challenges. That's why many powerful individuals operate behind layers of privacy, companies, trusts, and silence. They don't want to be known, they want to be effective. Here's something most people never think about. Flashy wealth creates pressure to maintain an image. Once you show a certain lifestyle, you are trapped by it. You must keep earning, keep spending, keep proving. But hidden wealth gives freedom. Freedom to move quietly, choose peace, and make decisions without public judgment. Some fortunes were dangerous not because of criminals, but because of governments. Throughout history, sudden wealth made people targets for unfair laws, forced donations, confiscation, or punishment. If the system knows you have too much, it may decide you have more than enough. So the wise learned to spread wealth across assets, names, borders, and time. Not to escape responsibility, but to survive instability. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If your income doubled tomorrow, would you feel safer telling everyone, or keeping it to yourself? Most people assume showing success brings respect, but often it brings expectations. Suddenly everyone needs help. Suddenly everyone has opinions. Suddenly your money feels less like freedom, and more like a leash. Some fortunes were dangerous, because they exposed the owner's influence. Money talks, but when it speaks too loudly, it attracts rivals. Business competitors, political enemies, and even former friends start watching closely. Every move becomes judged. Every mistake becomes magnified. That's why quiet wealth is powerful wealth. It moves without noise. There are people who control massive businesses, supply chains, or technologies, yet you will never see their faces online. They don't want applause, they want longevity. Let's talk about modern times. Social media made displaying wealth popular. but it also made it risky. People now know where you live, what you own, where you travel, and when you are away from home. That information is valuable, and not just to fans. Some fortunes are dangerous simply because too many people feel entitled to them. When wealth becomes visible, strangers feel connected to it. They feel owed, they feel justified in asking, demanding, or criticizing how it's used. But when wealth is quiet, it remains personal. No explanations needed. No permission required. Another truth most people ignore is that money changes relationships. Friends treat you differently. Family expectations shift. Love becomes complicated. Trust becomes fragile. Some people hide their fortune not from the world, but from the people closest to them, because they want real connection, not financial attachment. Ask yourself this honestly: would the people around you treat you the same if they knew exactly how much you had? Many wealthy people already know the answer, and that's why they stay silent. Some fortunes were dangerous because they were tied to controversial industries, new technologies, or ideas ahead of their time. Being too visible made people targets for blame, fear, or backlash. So instead of standing in the spotlight, they let their work speak quietly through systems. You don't hear about them, but you feel their impact every day. There is also a deep psychological reason hidden wealth feels safer. When you don't display wealth, you control the narrative of your life. You are judged by your character, not your bank account. You can walk freely, make mistakes, and grow without constant comparison. Loud wealth attracts opinions. Quiet wealth attracts peace. Some fortunes were dangerous because they revealed independence. People who don't need approval, permission, or support threaten systems built on control. Financial independence is powerful, and power makes others uncomfortable, so the safest way to hold power is not to announce it. Let me ask you something important. Is your goal to look rich, or to live free? Because those are very different goals. Looking rich satisfies ego. Living free satisfies life. Many people chase the image of wealth and end up trapped by it. The truly wealthy often chase peace, privacy, and choice. That's why you'll hear stories of billionaires wearing simple clothes, driving regular cars, and living quietly, not because they can't afford more, but because they understand the cost of attention. Some fortunes were dangerous because the world was not ready to see them, so they stayed hidden, protected, and patient. And many of them are still quietly growing today, untouched by noise, untouched by drama, untouched by envy. The question is not why they hid their wealth. The real question is this: if you had more than enough, would you choose attention or safety? Would you choose applause or freedom? Because the most dangerous fortunes were not the ones that disappeared. They were the ones smart enough to stay unseen. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.